Welcome everybody to uSTADIUM Fantasy Live Week 2, ready to come at you. Week 1 was hype. There was a bunch going on. We had the big Thursday game. We had the Monday night game, which was absolutely electricity. We're heading into week 2. There's a bunch of news that we're going to throw your way. We're here to answer all your questions. We're going to give you our starts and sits of the week. We are brought to you, as always, by the uSTADIUM app. Make sure you're getting on the app. The new takes feature is second to none. Make money on your sports takes. It doesn't get any better than that. I use it as an additional tool to trash talk my league mates. When I pop up on there, then I'm going to whoop their fantasy team in the week. With me, as always, is my co-host, Stefan Bersage. Stefan, I mean, the jersey's got to go. It is absolutely ugly. How you doing, brother?
It's good. It's week 2. It's Saints week. It's early for us. You know how me and you like the little shindig of the 0-7 Saints against, or the 0-7 Bucks against the Saints. So it's not bad. I mean, last week was it was a rough week a little bit for a few leagues here and there. My starts and sits were like here and there. So I'm ready to come back this week and just give you guys better advice and some better starts and sits, because I looked back at last week's tape and I'm like, oh man, these guys are going to chew me alive. Chris is like, this guy is like, ugh.
It's 5-2. 5 me, 2 you, buddy. I was batted 100 last week. So I'm high up in the clouds heading into this week, but this is the week where I go 0-4 and you're probably going to run the table on me.
You know what? I've been keeping track, because last year I had a bunch where I didn't even know. I'm like, how did we do? We're like, I don't know. We had a few right and a few wrong. Now this week or this year I have everything lined up, like what I got wrong, what I got right. I'm kind of scared to see how week 17 ends up, wrong and right starts, but so far it's off to a shaky start.
Yeah, we're going to get to the key outs and ins for this coming week. There are some players that you most likely drafted at the top end of your drafts that are out, and it's already hurting you. Wide receiver Chris Godwin for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is out. Mike Evans and Leonard Fournette are both expected to play for the Bucs.
Good.
Alvin Kamara, the running back for the Saints, out. Mark Ingram is expected to play. Taysom Hill, who was a part of the run game last week, is a sneaky start. I'm expecting a West Virginia CJ Donaldson type play coming into the week, putting him in that tight end slot. It could be a cheat code for you. So if Taysom Hill's on your waivers, you might want to go grab him. Wide receiver Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce for the Indianapolis Colts, both out. Taylor, if you weren't already expecting him to have a big day, is expected to have a big day. Players like Paris Campbell, Mike Strawn, Ashton Dillon could all be peppered with targets. I'm not really trusting either of them. I'd start Hines before trusting any of these guys this week. But if your back's up against the wall and you need to start a flyer, out of the 3, I'm probably going Paris Campbell.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, outside of the whole JT thing, hey, hammer those anytime touchdowns. Hammer that first touchdown in the game. JT is going to get that workload, and of course your boy Hines is going to get that workload. I think Paris Campbell is the one silver lining in this entire thing. I think he's good. I mean, we've had flashes. He was supposed to be all that. I think this is the week that he has that 5 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown. And I mean, it is against Jacksonville. We're not going against a good elite defense, so it doesn't scare me as much. If you go and put, say, this Colts team against the Titans, I'm kind of worried for the Colts, but it's the Jags. And I mean, it's the spread is ridiculous. So Vegas sees something. I see something. I think I wouldn't trust those guys. JT and Nyheim Hines, considerable in flex options, you think, in 12-man leagues?
Yeah.
Or is he
I would. Yeah, I would.
I'm so scared though. I'm waiting for that. Frank Reich is saying, "Oh, he's gonna get the ball. This guy should be in your lineup." But yet, I'm looking, unless he scores that vulture TD from JT, I don't really feel confident putting that guy in my flex though.
Yeah, Matt Ryan's never been known to be a guy that's going to check down to his running backs either. So there is also that. Let's get to our question here from Kevin Clark. Tom Brady or Jameis Winston in my one league, or Tom Brady and Trey Lance in my other? Jameis Winston has been questionable throughout the whole week. So I'm going to go Tom Brady over Jameis Winston in that one. And then I'm going to pick Trey Lance over Tom Brady in that other league because, I mean, we all saw the Trey Lance video come out this week where he was at the Peeler Pub just throwing around ones. If this guy doesn't produce today, the rumblings for Jimmy Garoppolo to start are only going to get louder with the release of that video. No video, I would say if he has a rough day, he'd be okay. Video, rough day, I mean, they're going to be clamoring for Jimmy G there.
When I saw that video, when I look at those kind of videos and I'm like, is that really this guy? Like, you know, you've seen those doppelganger videos where it's like, oh, this guy's out doing this. He's like, oh, it's not really him. It's like some off-brand, like, you know, guy looks like him. No, that was Trey Lance. And I looked at that spread. I'm like, you're going out and doing this when the Seahawks just upset Broncos country. I don't know what they're doing in San Fran. I just know that if Trey Lance is a bust, there's one man I want on this show when that happens. He's the owner of the company. He's the big man on campus. I want Frankie on this show to tell all 49er hopeful how much of Trey Lance he does not like, because he's been saying it all the time. He's like, this guy is not that good. He's not Josh Allen. And all these people out there saying, oh, it's Josh Allen. Oh, this guy is that. Nah. Mm-hmm. If Trey Lance does not perform this week against a vulnerable defense in Seattle with all those weapons, I know Kittle's not there, but Deebo Samuel cannot live off of 2 catches. Like, it's just, you can't do that. So if Trey Lance can't get it right this weekend in Seattle, I'm going to start shipping him out. I'm going to start looking for trades. I might even buy low, but it's going to start getting very murky in those waters.
Yeah. Nick Spano, thanks for tuning in, Nick. Talk good about Kirk Cousins. Why is he going to be a QB5 this week in fantasy football? Easy answer. Justin Jefferson is why Kirk Cousins is going to be a weekly QB1 for fantasy owners and managers who have this guy in his lineup. The new offense has looked great last week against the what some would say is one of the top end defenses in the league. He threw 32 times, 23 completions, 277 yards, and 2 tutties. This week, he gets, who does he get this week? Philadelphia, same thing, decent defense, but the offense is what is going to make Kirk Cousins a weekly start, a smash start, week in, week out, and a weekly QB1 there. More outs on the week. Rondale Moore is out for the Cardinals. Greg Dortch, who was a big part of the offense last week, 9 targets, 91% snap share, 100% of the route participation. Negative game script last week, should be the same this week versus the Raiders. I'm expecting Greg Dortch to have a decent day. So if he's on your waivers and you're stuck with these guys like Godwin, Pittman out, Pierce out, Dortch might be the guy that you're going to want to plug into your lineup, not Paris Campbell, not Ashton Dulin, and not Mike Strawn. So if Dortch is there, you're starting Dortch over those 3 Indianapolis Colts wide receivers. George Kittle, a true game time decision. You see it here, not expected to play versus the Seahawks. He is out. If you're looking for a streaming tight end, I'm going to give you one in our starts and sits, but also Evan Ingram is there, and so he should have a decent day as a tight end. So if he's on your waivers, pick him up. J.K. Dobbins, not expected to make his debut this week. Looking for a week 3 return for Dobbins. They want to make sure that he is ready to go. Albert here, Morrow Quinn, Gabe Davis or Waddle, full PPR. I'm smashing Waddle on this one.
Yeah. Do you know anything about the update on Gabe Davis's ankle? Like, that kind of worried me.
Game time decision is all I've got for you right now. I'm starting Waddle, even if he's not a game time decision there. So I'm going Waddle. The Baltimore Ravens secondary has been banged up throughout the week. A bunch of guys questionable, doubtful, but most of them are going to play. Humphrey's going to play. He's not 100%. So I'm looking for Waddle and Tyreek to both have big days. Goni, Nukolaj, Chris Olave, or Logan Thomas at the flex? I'm going Olave there, yeah?
I don't know. I think Logan, listen, I've never, offered started on tight end of your flex, but I feel like Logan Thomas on that offense, especially with Carson Wentz, like Carson Wentz gave Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, Didn't really do good in. I guess Jack Doyle on a decent season. I mean, we had Chris Olave because he's a skilled player over at tight end, but hold on to Logan Thomas for a few weeks. I think after he clears that, that ACL injury that rusts up the season like Robert Tonyan did, I think he'll be a viable starter for fantasy, actually in your tight end one.
Yep. Yeah, 6 targets last week, 4 catches. We all know that Carson Wentz likes peppering his tight end when he trusts the tight end. Indianapolis, well, not so much. Philadelphia, and now week 1 for Washington, he has been peppering those tight ends. Julio Jones for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is a true game-time decision with a knee issue. It was great seeing a 31-year-old being utilized in jet sweeps. So the guy still got it. DeAndre Swift is expected to play, but with limited usage. I can see Jamal Williams being used as the primary rushing running back, and then DeAndre Swift being used in the passing game. T. Higgins is expected to play. He came out of concussion protocol. He didn't practice Thursday due to his father's funeral. So, I mean, guys coming off loved ones' funerals and games tend to just have huge games. So I'm plugging in T. Higgins. Allen Lazard expected to play. Tampa, we already mentioned Tampa Bay wide receiver Mike Evans, Leo Fournette, both expected to play. Wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson is out. Kadarius Toney is expected to play, and running back for the Atlanta Falcons, Damian Williams, is out. Cordero Patterson becomes a smash start in that offense. What are we doing with Swift from James here? Start, sit, or cry? I mean, you're crying because you know what he can do. It's already week 2, and he's popped up on the injury report. If I got no other option, I think I'm sitting him with the ankle issue. If I have Jamal Williams, I'm starting Jamal Williams there. I mean, it's so tough to sit a guy like DeAndre Swift, especially in week 2. What's your outlook on it, Steph?
You know what's going to happen as soon as I say this, it's going to happen. So just know that when I say what I'm going to say, you guys know what's going to happen. I think a limited snap, you got to just bench the guy, and you sit and cry because you're benching him. That's what I'm going to say, James. I think you look at it, you're like, you no name, no word. Can't be mad. My second round, first round pick. Like, you're just pissed because you're like, what the hell? Like, Alvin Kamara, DeAndre Swift, these are like guys you take first 2 rounds, and you're like, okay, this is this is the heart of my team. These guys are the heart of my team. And you're like, hey, Swift, limited play. What's he going to rip a 50-yard rushing touchdown? That's what you hope. That's what I hope, and I hope that he savages a 15-point game. I just don't trust him. I just don't think the Detroit Lions want to put him in a situation to get hurt. I think Jamal Williams has been phenomenal, as a backup. Justin Jackson's good. And a guy that no one's talking about, I feel like has got a lot of disrespect, and in situations like this can come in, have a few good workhorse plays, is Craig Reynolds. I think that guy has done nothing but right things in the Detroit locker room to keep him on the team, and enough to be in a situation like this where it'll be a true committee. I think if Swift is either limited or out ever in this offense, it'll always be a true committee, if not through him.
Yeah, it's tough to sit a guy like that, but it is only week 2, so you have that opportunity to sit him, lick your wounds heading into week 3 if you lose, and then hopefully he's good from here on out. It's only a minor injury, and then you can just plug him in the rest of the way. But not a good look for a guy who's had injury problems throughout his NFL career so far, being limited in week 2. Splash Rants, the GOAT producer. I was 1 out of 4 on my calls last week. Who's your QB1, RB1, wide receiver 1, and tight end 1 heading into the week? You want to go first? You want me to go first here?
You go first this time.
You want me to go first?
Last time it wasn't good.
I did. I mean, I got the wide receiver 1 right last week with Justin Jefferson. This week, my QB1, I'm gonna go. There's some great options. I'm gonna go off the beaten path here. I'm gonna go Carson Wentz versus the Detroit Lions. He put up a good week last week. Jahan Dotson catching 2 touchdowns. He's been spreading the ball around well. He's been dumping it off to Antonio Gibson. We love to see it. Carson Wentz versus the Detroit Lions has a great opportunity. He's in a great position to finish as the QB1 here. A little bit of a dark horse for me. Splash has Burrow, Jonathan Taylor, and Kyle Pitts. I'm going to go Wentz. I'm going to piggyback off Jonathan Taylor with a big part of the passing offense out for the Indianapolis Colts. Jonathan Taylor has all the opportunity to finish as the RB1 on the week. I love the Tyreek Hill pick there. I'm going to go Cooper Kupp, wide receiver 1 versus the Atlanta Falcons. For me, the Los Angeles Rams coming off that week 1 loss versus the Bills. They've had the extra time to game plan for the Falcons, that little extra rest. They're going to come out firing. Cooper Kupp, a wide receiver 1. Jonathan Taylor, running back 1. Carson Wentz, QB 1. And then tight end 1. There's a bunch of them. I mean, we saw last week it was Travis Kelce, and then it was a gang of tight ends that most likely probably weren't even drafted in your leagues last week as finishers. But if I'm gonna go this week, I like the Kyle Pitts pick there. He wasn't used a lot last week in that offense, but I'm gonna go Darren Waller against the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals have not looked good. Big time expected shootout for that game, Vegas versus Arizona. So those are my 4: Wentz, Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Kupp, and Darren Waller. What are yours, buddy?
Okay, so I'm actually gonna stack this.
Ooh.
I'm going to stack a quarterback, and I'm going to stack a receiver. Now, can you guess that receiver and quarterback stack that you think I have one of the easiest matchups of the week?
I hope it's not Tom Brady.
No. Listen, I've learned my lesson. I know. No, it's actually going to be
Go ahead.
Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Watching what happened last week against the Dallas Cowgirls and how Trayvon Diggs was all over Mike Evans, and yet Mike Evans still snagged it one-handed over the guy. Like, we got to learn. Trayvon Diggs is not a corner. He's a safety. You put him on a receiver like that, you know what's going to happen. All right? So once you try him with a sorry corner, like Trayvon, you go, okay, look, Jamar Chase, Trayvon Diggs. What are you going to do? Throw it up, throw it here and there. It's going to be a field day. So Joe Burrow, and I'll actually answer Eduardo's question. I'd go Joe Burrow over A-Rod right there. Yeah. Jamar Chase is my receiver. I'm taking JT. I think he's going to be touching like 100 carries this game. The tight end, it's going to be crazy, but I really think Dalton Schultz has the potential to be Cooper Rush's like best friend. And only because of garbage time and because of just the desperation that it is, I think Dalton Schultz ends up as tight end 1 in an ugly week for the Cowboys, but the only silver lining on that offense. So give me Joe Burrow, Chase stack, give me JT, and give me Dalton Schultz for this week.
There it is. There's our 4 top producers for the week at each position. Thank you for the question, Eduardo. We appreciate the tune in, brother. Joe Burr. I love that nickname. Guy is ice cold. 101 dozer. Darnell Mooney or Chase Claypool? Mooney's got the Packers. Claypool's got the Patriots. Are you trusting Justin Fields? Or are you trusting Mitch Trubisky and the field there of wide receivers? I'm going to trust Darnell Mooney. The game last week was a rain game. It was messy. There was a lot going on. Mooney didn't have the week that you were hoping for, but he is the wide receiver 1 on that offense for Chicago. So I'm okay taking Mooney there.
It's like just Justin Fields, Trubisky, Mooney, Claypool. It's like, this must be a 12-man league. I gotta go Mooney too. I think he's a receiver 1 in Chicago, maybe not in fantasy, but he's still the guy in Chicago. So I would go with him over option 2 or 3 and Chase Claypool.
Especially if Green Bay gets up big early, the game script's gonna favor Mooney over Claypool, whereas I don't see the Patriots putting up 30-something points there. No. And the Pittsburgh defense is pretty stout. So that game could be one in the trenches with the running backs. Both teams got decent running backs. I can definitely see Pittsburgh and New England be low scoring, and Chicago and Green Bay being a little bit higher on that. Craig, Wayne, Jamal Williams, or Ramondre Stevenson, half PPR. We know that Ty Montgomery is on IR, so Ramondre Stevenson gets a bump there. Ty Montgomery was used a bit more than Ramondre last week. And then we know DeAndre Swift is going to be on a snap count, limited usage, most likely not in the running game, but relied upon heavily in the passing game. I'm okay starting Jamal Williams this week over Ramondre Stevenson with the DeAndre Swift news.
Yeah, I mean, Jamal Williams, sorry, kind of tongue-tied me there. Jamal Williams last week had 2 touchdowns on DeAndre Swift, 144 yards and a touchdown. Like, I think Jamal Williams, goal line back easily. And he's still capable of being a fill-in starter, too. I mean, like I said, there's a committee, but, like, if you looked at Jamal Williams in Green Bay, when there was no Aaron Jones before the A.J. Dillon era, he was the guy. And he was a decent fill-in for a good backup. And he doesn't need to get you, the fantasy points. He needs to win them their game through the 3 running backs. So Ramondre, half-point PPR against that Steelers defense. I know Watt's not there, but they're still a good defense. Minka's still in that defense, I think. So if you're looking, Jamal Williams, but it's not like I'm favoriting him. I wish Ramondre was James White 2.0 or Shane Vereen, but it doesn't seem like New England's going to go anywhere this year, especially that offense is just still at the start line, like ready to go for week 1.
Yep, agreed there. Woody the Badger, Brendan Ayuk, full PPR. I feel like Julio might be a decoy due to his injury. I'm going to go Ayuk here, full PPR. Trey Lance came out during the week and said that Brandon Ayuk is going to be used more in the offense, so I'm expecting a lot of targets. I'm seeing about 6 to 7 targets, so he should be good for about 5 catches, a good amount of yards, and possibly a touchdown there. They are facing the Seattle Seahawks, who we saw last week get burned by Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. So I'm looking forward to Brendan Ayuk over Julio Jones in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep it simple. Same way. Ayuk, I think, is a breakout player this year, and he's a receiver too besides Debo. So do that, and Julio's good, but Julio's gonna be the guy you have a plug and play every few weeks. So,
yep. Triple X Lex, AJ Dillon, Nyheim Hines, Allen Robinson, Chase Edmonds, Julio Jones. Pick 2, full PPR. Thanks, y'all. What 2 are you picking here, Steph?
Well, AJ Dillon's gonna be the first one. That's the easiest one off the entire list. I want myself to say Chase Edmonds. I feel like last game was just like a fluke game for him. He still had, 4 catches, 12 carries. Still had a decent game for whatever they produced offensively. And I think Miami has still another gear to show us that they didn't show us against the Patriots. So if I had to, give me A.J. Dillon and give me Chase Edmonds. I think volume speaks everything in fantasy, and 2 running backs that are getting a lot more looks than the other options on there over A-Rob, Hines, and Julio. So give me those 2, 10 out of 10.
Yep, I agree. Dillon, Edmonds, a little insight on Edmonds. He held a 63.3% snap share, 72% opportunity share. He had 12 carries, 4 targets. So he's an integral part to that Miami Dolphins offense. I'm playing Edmonds over those other guys, and A.J. Dillon, who's an absolute monster there. So also 40 receiving yards for Edmonds. So he is utilized in that Miami Dolphins passing attack. Kevin Clark, who we just talked about, Chase Edmonds or Montgomery? You got a favorite out of the 2?
I like Chase Edmonds. I like what he brings to that team, what he brings to that offense. But I think Montgomery is more of an established workhorse. He gets the value. He's a pass-catching back, very underrated in his pass-catching. I just think that it's Montgomery. And I know the truthers out there are like, Khalil Herbert. But until Khalil Herbert demands 15 carries a game, I don't think he's going to take that backfield. I think there's a better split between them nowadays. But I think Montgomery this week, just even against the Packers, it's a night game. It's all he has in Chicago outside of Mooney. Edmonds, I'd give him 1 more week. And if he does do well, Edmonds, this week, then there you go. Is your RB2, is your flex starter, but Montgomery's my guy right now.
Yep, I don't hate it there. Triple X Lex, Darrell Henderson or Rashad Penny this week? Full PPR. I'm going to go Rashad Penny. with the Cam Akers whole situation there with the Rams, the whole fact that they said that he's got to be a little more accountable for his efforts and all that for Cam Akers, I could see a situation where the LA Rams decide to give Cam Akers a little bit more of a snap share coming into the week to kind of build up his confidence in the backfield. So Penny does have Kenny Walker coming back this week off the hernia injury, but Kenny Walker's not going to have a full workload. He's not going to cut too much into Rashad Penny's workload, at least this week. I'm taking Rashad Penny over Henderson. The Seattle Seahawks know that they can lean on Rashad Penny as the primary running back. The Seattle Seahawks are going to want to slow the game down, take the ball out of the other offense's hands. So give me Rashad Penny there. He looked explosive. He had a couple explosive runs last week versus Denver that were called back. So he could have had a better week as well. Darrell Henderson had a high snap share last week, but didn't do too much the role that he was given. I could definitely see Cam Akers being leaned upon a little bit more this week, more than his 3 carries and whatever it was, 2 targets. So I'm taking Rashad Penny this week. I want to see what happens with that LA Rams backfield. So yeah, start Rashad Penny.
There you go.
Caden Casemiro, Jalen Waddle, or Miles Sanders for flex in PPR. Steph, I know you don't like the Philadelphia Eagles backfield. Miles Sanders for me is the start, one of my RB starts this week. I'm going to let you guys know why when we get into that. But Jalen Waddle is so hard to pass up and leaving them on your bench, especially in full PPR formats. I'm taking Jalen Waddle here, even though we saw Miles Sanders have a good week last week. The Philadelphia Eagles backfield is one of the hardest to predict week in and week out. We could see a situation where they use Boston Scott or Kenny Gainwell more coming into the week. Miles Sanders told everyone last week not to start him. He's not going to get any touchdowns. He ends up getting a touchdown and finishing as a top-end running back on week 1. But for me, it's Jalen Waddle here. I'm taking Jalen Waddle.
I don't know what to say. Miles Sanders is Miles Sanders. I mean, he scored a touchdown. He did well. He's all right. I think I'm always scared because I've been dogging Miles Sanders for years. You know that. And yeah. I had him in my dynasty league. I traded him away. I don't want anything to do with him. Of course, week 1, what's he come out against the Detroit Lions, a team that I love very much. He scored a touchdown, his first touchdown over 600 days. I hate. I'm going to probably shoot myself in the foot, but give me Miles Sanders.
Okay.
Volume. Right. It's all about volume. I played him last week. I was like, oh, please, Miles Sanders. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get a free dub because this guy doesn't know what he's doing. What happens? Miles Sanders scores. I lose my week, and I'm looking like that guy that talked crap about Miles Sanders, and yet he got over 15 carries. I'm certain to do it again. He got a touchdown. I mean, if you look at the other guys on that team, you look at Boston Scott, he's not really a pure rusher. You look at Kenneth Gainwell, who's kind of like the Chase Edmonds of the world, where he just more is of a receiving back. I love Jalen Waddle. last week kind of scared me. I was like, I didn't see Jalen Waddle score until that halftime touchdown and then a few catches after that. So it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. So if I had to, Miles Sanders, volume, PPR, flex, it's not the worst. And if you have Jalen Waddle or Miles Sanders, you're doing pretty well anyways.
Yeah.
So it's
exactly.
I can't believe I did that. I said Miles Sanders.
Good luck, Caden. Thanks for tuning in. Delusional Tanner, Deontay Johnson or Brandon Cooks in a 0.5 PPR. They seem damn near identical, and I have Cortland Sutton, who I'm starting over both. I'm comfortable starting Sutton over both these guys. Do you have a preference for either or here between Deontay and Brandon Cooks? I know Deontay has the Patriots. And Brandon Cooks has the Broncos.
So we're looking at Pat Surtain against Brandon Cooks, and we're looking at Deontay Johnson against Jalen Mills. Give me Deontay Johnson, I think. I think it's not going to be like one of those, like you said, a high-scoring game. But if there was one person to score a touchdown, if anything in this game, it's going to be Deontay Johnson.
It's the guy who last week too.
Exactly, man. Like some people have lives and kids to feed. And Deontay Johnson doesn't care about that because he has kids to feed too. And I think this week he's going to feed. I think last week he Could have done better. I think the offense is getting better. New England, like I keep saying, I loved watching New England in the Brady days, but this ain't the Brady days, and they are struggle busting it right now. So take advantage of the Patriots' lack of offense and defense and plug me Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, Deontay Johnson, 12 targets last week, 7 catches. He did have that one fumble that kind of cost him, but his floor, I believe, is much better than Brandon Cooks' floor. But they are damn near identical in both their offenses. But I'm taking the target volume of Deontay Johnson. Splash rants over under 6.5 missed tackles for Patrick Queen against Miami today. I'm gonna go under there. I'm gonna go under only because I'm starting Patrick Queen in my IDP league.
Life is too short to bet the under.
I mean, they got a lot of guys that are gonna make you miss on that Miami Dolphins offense, man.
I see. I'm looking forward to that game, and pivot to a side. Is that a trap game for the spread? I know we don't talk gambling a lot, but like it's plus 3.5 for Baltimore. I'm looking at that like, why do I want to take it so heavily? Why do I want it? And I'm like, this is it. Every time I want a bet like that, it's gonna be the other way. So I want the Miami Dolphins to win, but then again, it's like the Ravens. So I don't know.
Triple X Lex, Marquise Brown, T. Higgins, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Darrell Henderson, or Elijah Moore. Start 2 in the flex. T. Higgins has been cleared to go. Amon-Ra St. Great game week, so I'm definitely plugging in. Marquise Brown is just such a smash start this week versus the Raiders with no one else really there except Greg Dortch. I'm gonna pick Marquise Brown, man, and then it's T. Higgins or Amon-Ra. You like one over the other?
I think T. Higgins. I can't go away without picking T. Higgins and Amon-Ra. I think Henderson.
T. Higgins versus Dallas is just such a juicy matchup, right?
It's literally screaming, "Give me 20 points!" If Tampa Bay's offense didn't sputter on Sunday Night Football and had all those field goals, the score, no joke, would have been 49-3, and you would have seen a completely different offensive look, and you would have been like, "Oh my God!" Anyone that starts any receiver against the Dallas Cowboys will do well. I firmly believe that all season long. You start them against the Cowboys, and it's one other team. Every time they're gonna always smash you over on the passing yard. Prop bets. Anyone you're playing, even if it's the third receiver in Tyler Boyd, I would plug him in flex play to play him against the Dallas Cowboys. I think they're in that much of trouble in defensive backfield that it's just going to be another 1,000-yard receiver for another 1,000-yard season for Trayvon Diggs. So,
I'm gonna change up my answer here. Sorry, Lex. I'm gonna go T. Higgins and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh.
I'm not liking what I've been seeing out of the Arizona Cardinals offense as a whole. So they're game planning to get the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Give me Amon-Ra there. We saw what the high target volume pass catcher can do against the Washington Commanders. We saw what Christian Kirk did, Zay Jones. Give me T. Higgins coming off the death of his father, and give me Amon-Ra St. Brown in that Detroit Lions offense.
Really quick though, I have a question because I have a football chat kind of blowing up. They're trying to ask questions. What are you doing, Mark Ingram? What is Mark Ingram's like? Because he's projected to be the guy, but he has that ankle injury.
Mm-hmm.
You're the only person that's close to the Saints like this. Yeah. Are you starting Mark Ingram at all?
If I have to, I will start. I will start Mark Ingram if I have to.
There's no limitations. Like
the limitations. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive front. I'm not looking for Mark Ingram to have a giant game. I don't see him breaking off too many big runs with his injury status. Taysom Hill's most likely going to snake any kind of goal line touches. They like using Taysom Hill as a running back. If there's a running back I'm picking for the New Orleans Saints today, it's the tight end Taysom Hill. So I'm not comfortable starting Mark Ingram if I don't have to. But if I absolutely have to put him in, I'm not going to be happy about it. I'm going to burn some sage. I'm going to pray to the fantasy gods that he has a decent day to save my week. Triple X Lex, yeah, appreciate you tuning in, brother. Anytime you got questions, make sure you hit us up on Twitter at uSTADIUM Fantasy Live. Download the uSTADIUM app. If you find the uSTADIUM Fantasy Football team, you can hop in there, and we are accessible 24/7. We got a group of great minds, myself, Stefan, Solo Lopez, Anthony, who's joined the team. There's a bunch of guys behind the scenes that are working to get you guys to where you want to be. And ultimately, that's at the jeweler sizing up them rings. And again, Lex, we appreciate the super sticker, brother.
Much.
Thank you for tuning in. We can't do it without you guys at the end of the day. So
no, literally is right. We literally need you guys so we can do good.
Do we like this for a round robin? Washington money line, Cincy money line, Pittsburgh money line, Miami cover 3.5, and Carolina money line. I got none that I would change there.
Yeah, because the spread on the Detroit game is -1 for Detroit. Cincinnati's going to blow them up. Pittsburgh. I actually might take New England with the spread on that one. I think it's going to be one of those classic, like, crap shoots of a game where the offense is like, oh, it's like good plays here and there. But Pittsburgh money line is not, it's not the worst. If you're going for upside money-wise, yeah, take that. If you're going safe side, give me the spread on that Pittsburgh game, I think. And if you hit that round robin there, Splash, don't forget, hey, we used to do the sports test together.
All right, let's get into our starts and sits of the week. If you guys tuning in have any questions while we're firing these off, don't hesitate to ask the questions. We will stop what we are talking about to get to you guys. You are the number ones. Mako J37, Travis Etienne or Curtis Samuel as my flex, and then Etienne or Henderson Jr. at my RB2. Start Curtis Samuel as your flex. I really like what they've been doing to try to get him the ball. They are a game planning Curtis Samuel to get the ball. So start Curtis Samuel then, and then pivot over Henderson flex there. Yeah, sorry, as your RB2. Sorry.
I agree. I think finally, like The Rock always says, Curtis Samuel has come to Washington. This is what Curtis Samuel is supposed to be doing. This is the guy that we wanted 2 years ago. So give me Curtis Samuel again against the Detroit Lions. And then I kind of want Etienne. I really want Etienne because you're giving me that Cam Akers like hype speech where it's like, it's week 1. You did bad. You come back. You do good. So I'm going to roll with Etienne. I don't want to I try not to confuse you guys. We try to be on the same thing.
2 touchdowns he could have had last week. 2 tutties. He missed that overthrow by Lawrence, and he dropped that go ahead there when they were in the red zone. Yeah, that was a horrible drop. Yeah.
But I mean, listen, look, you look at it. Like you said, you tell me the opportunities, you tell me everything, and everyone's like, oh, James Robinson's there. The NFL is a 2 RB committee. Every running back is going to have a mate. So if you think, oh, Etienne's going to be ruined by James Robinson and vice versa, just don't even have him then. Just trade him. I would start Etienne and I would start Samuel. I think Cam Akers starts to slowly cut into Darrell Henderson's workload because the guy still had an Achilles injury last year. Like, I don't know why. Like, I was the one that was on the bandwagon of talking that smack about Cam Akers. But, I mean, look, he's off an injury. Give him a few months. Fantasy-wise, who cares? But for the season, he could be their good RB2 that can get them to the playoffs.
Yep, agreed. A.J. Dillon, Kareem Hunt, or Deontay Johnson this week? Full PPR.
Kareem Hunt. It was last year, not last. Was last week like a fluke for us? Like, is he gonna not do that again? Because he kind of vultured 2 touchdowns from Chubb. Outside of those 2 vultures, he didn't do anything. A.J. Dillon on the way looked like a clear-cut RB2 for the season. I mean, it's Minnesota. We'll see how he does against Chicago tonight. Give me Kareem Hunt, I think. The receptions are there, and just the workload and the percentage of snaps share is just all Kareem Hunt.
There you go. Good luck. Etienne or Curtis Samuel as my flex? Oh, we already answered this one here.
Wait a minute.
We got Samuel and Etienne, yeah. As my wide receiver 2 this week, CeeDee Lamb, who lost Dak Prescott. He's got Cooper Rush there. I don't know. I'm not trusting Cooper Rush. Rashad Bateman or Devonta Smith, who put up a donut. I just want to put in there that I have Justin Jefferson as my wide receiver 1. You lucky guy, you.
I like that. I'm in the fan club with you.
This is probably one of the trickier questions we've had today, just based on CeeDee Lamb is a talented wide receiver, but He's got a downgrade in Cooper Rush at QB. Rashad Bateman, to me, is the start out of the three. If CeeDee Lamb had Dak, I'd be leaning CeeDee Lamb here. Devonta Smith got the 0 last week, so I'm not trusting him in my lineups until he starts to produce some. Even though it was only week 1, I'm not liking it. I'm going Rashad Bateman here as the wide receiver 2.
I really wanted to go Devonta Smith. I really did, because if you look at Minnesota's corners, I mean, Christian Watson would have burned Pat Pete, I'm sorry, for a 75-yard touchdown if he didn't have Butterfingers. That would have been a touchdown. It would have been greatest rookie of the week. Like, the whole mantra would have been a complete script flip. Mm-hmm. I think Devonta Smith has a comeback game. You don't have a guy from Bama. This guy is a decorated receiver. You don't just have A.J. Brown come in there and they go, okay, now you're going to get zero catches a game. It's just one of those games. Week 1, a lot of guys didn't have any points. A lot of guys dudded. A lot of guys this and that. I think Smith bounces back in a good way. But Rashad Bateman, Batman, I like to always call him. I think that's Lamar Jackson's guy. That's Batman and Robin right there for the whole season.
Yep, there you go. Good luck. Timothy Chan, Jerry Jeudy, Kareem Hunt, or Cordell Patterson. Who should I bench? Full PPR.
Love this situation.
Yeah, I mean, Damian Williams out. Cordell Patterson is a smash start. All these guys really are starts. Like,
Patterson,
bench.
Is Patterson really a smash start against that terrible offensive line? And they're going against a pissed Aaron Donald.
This is true.
I don't know I know that, like I said, David Mullins out. Tyler Algier is the guy, is backup. I just don't know if I want to start Patterson over a pissed off Aaron Donald. And Jerry Jeudy looked good, but Jerry Jeudy without that bomb was nothing. So I might just go Kareem Hunt again. Like, I might just double down on that and say, give me Kareem Hunt full PPR.
Yeah, okay, I could take that. If you're starting 2, I'm starting Jeudy and Hunt, and then benching Patterson versus the Rams there. I mean, Judy's got a nice matchup versus the Texans. Darius Ralston, DJ Moore, or Allen Robinson? I think like Allen Robinson is the same situation as Cam Akers. Everyone during the week after that week 1 game wasn't used. They were posting videos of him being wide open and Matt Stafford just not getting him the ball. And then you got DJ Moore, who's got the upgrade in quarterback for Baker Mayfield. We were all hoping for him to have a stellar week 1 versus the Browns, but the Browns defense, no slouch. Do you like one over the other? Like, are you leaning heavily? Because I can see both of them having a similar type of day coming into the week. Carolina does have the New York Giants, who are a sneaky good defense. So I'm going to lean towards Allen Robinson here with the hope that the LA Rams versus the Atlanta Falcons, AJ Terrell most likely on Cooper Kupp. I'm going to hope that they find and game plan Allen Robinson to get the ball a bit more this week.
I mean, you cannot live in the NFL and look at Allen Robinson's week 1 stat and go, I'm totally okay with this. This is fine. This is what it's supposed to be. I do believe Swarnick, I think Cooper Kupp, those guys are going to have their role. I think Swarnick's going to be a good piece of this offense, and just in general. But Allen Robinson, what happened? 100 yards in Jacksonville, 14 touchdowns, 1,000+ yards in Chicago, and then you just went down a cliff. I don't know if his confidence is not there anymore. I mean, they raved about this guy in camp. They said this guy was good. He did have decent shots to be open in week 1, but pass protection wasn't there. I don't like Baker Mayfield. I don't think he was an upgrade for the Panthers. I think we saw that week 1, and he talked all that smack, still lost. DJ Moore was there, but what did DJ Moore really do with Baker Mayfield? I want to go Allen Robinson. I like DJ Moore. I just don't like Baker Mayfield, and I like Stafford over those guys. And I think this is the revenge game, and I'm hammering the Rams +10. So give me Allen Robinson, give me Darrell Henderson, give me Matt Stafford, give me Cooper Kupp, give me Tyler Swarnick. I think that's just the full name of him.
Ben Skronik.
Ben Skronik. Yeah, that's the guy. Thank you. I just don't want. Only thing I don't want on that offense is Cam Akers, because he has to prove it. You deserve to be in my starting lineup, and then we'll talk about it. So give me Allen Robinson on that one.
There's a guy on the app, on the uSTADIUM app, with a take that Allen Robinson gets 15 PPR points. Are you agreeing with this take and buying in? Or are you disagreeing with this take, Steph?
Is PPR, so he's got to get 5 catches, 50 yards, touchdowns, 8 catches, 70 yards.
I'm good with agreeing with it this week.
Yeah,
for
I
the
mean,
Falcons. Yep.
looking at the numbers, AJ Terrell's on Cooper Kupp. This has to be the week, though. I feel like this is like Allen Robinson's. I hate to say because it's week 2, but like if he has another dud, what are you doing? You're not going to drop him, but you're definitely not going to start him for like 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
So give me Allen Robinson. I'll agree with that one. I should go on the app and join that take. I need some more points.
Burrow or Matt Ryan this week, since Ryan has an easier matchup. I'm leaning Joe Burrow versus the Dallas Cowboys. Matt Ryan might have the easier matchup, but he's missing his primary target in Michael Pittman this week. So the Colts should lean heavily on Jonathan Taylor. I'm taking Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I mean, listen, dump Matt Ryan. He's useless this week. I'm sorry. If it's not JT, I don't want it. I don't even want the tight ends. I just, ugh. And Joe Burrow, I mean, he had a bad game, really. Like, if we're being honest, those pick 6, the interceptions, the sacks. I think they come back, and this is like a get-right game for the Bengals.
Yeah. Zeke or Pollard this week, asking for the whole fantasy football community. My hot take is that Tony Pollard has 5 or more fantasy points than Zeke at the end of the week. I'm going to lean Zeke here. He wasn't the elite producer that you were hoping him to be in week 1. He was a big sit of mine. We broke down why last week that you shouldn't have him in your lineups, but he did average 5.2 yards per carry. He was explosive when he got the ball. He moved the ball downfield when he needed to. They're going to rely heavily on the running game this week. Pollard could see more points than Zeke just based on the fact that Cooper Rush is going to dump it down. I don't think they're going to be taking too many big shots with him at quarterback. So I could definitely see, especially in full PPR leagues, I can definitely see a space where Tony Pollard outscores Ezekiel Elliott on the week. But as a pure running back, I'm taking Ezekiel Elliott here.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last week on the show. We talked about it in our fantasy space. I'll still say it. I think they still have to run through Zeke Elliott offensively.
Yeah. They paid him. They're going to play him.
Yeah, and I don't care how long he's got 4 years left on his contract. You paid someone. You're going to make sure that you use them. And I think last week was kind of what we're going to see going forward in a few games. But then again, Zeke is the heart of this offense now. I don't care what you say. CeeDee Lamb is not the heart of the offense. He's the receiver. He's not what – if Amari Cooper was there, I'd say, okay, Amari Cooper is the guy, but losing Amari Cooper, you see what's going to happen. You see the difference in that offense. And you go through Zeke for 17 games. I'm sorry, it's going to be bound to be an injury, but you have no other choice but to go through your multi-million-dollar, multi-year franchise star running back. I don't care how old he is now, but he is the best player that's not Dalton Schultz that they really have.
Yep, agreed.
So give me him.
Zeke.
Yeah.
Rashad Penny or Breece Hall in the RB2 full PPR. Breece Hall's passing game usage was great. It was a great outlook for him there. But Rashad Penny should see the bulk of the carries there. We know Walker is expected back this week, but Breece Hall has that pesky Michael Carter for him, just taking away snaps. So I'm leaning towards Rashad Penny in full PPR here.
Yeah, I think we got duped and bamboozled and robbed and just lied to at Breece Hall. You don't suck. It's just the Jets. So I'm like, God, everyone's taking.
The Jets love Michael Carter, man. They love Michael Carter.
You know what? Though? You got to respect that. You got to respect the business side of it. And Michael Carter has been nothing but a baller. He's been, crapped on because he's not the RB1. He's not the Javonte Williams like he was at NC. But just like UNC, just like in the Jets, he's a great complimentary back that will give the starter a run for his money. Mm-hmm. So give me Penny, even though I think Ken Walker does eventually take that backfield, not for the next few weeks. So Penny, have him now, let his value grow up, and then just sell him.
Yep. There you go. Joseph, my 2 running backs are injured, Alvin Kamara and J.K. Dobbins. F in the chat. Thoughts and prayers for you, brother. Who should I start? I have Tony Pollard, Ramondre Stevenson, J.D. McKissick, and Kenneth Walker. I'm leaning Ramondre Stevenson here with Ty Montgomery out I can see Ramondre Stevenson, who didn't have a high-valued week 1. He was the 3rd running back in terms of snap share in that backfield for the Patriots. I'm leaning Ramondre.
Yeah, give me. Man, it's just so tough because I want to say Pollard. Is it 2? Yeah, it's like 2 of them or 1? Because he's got Kamara and Dobbins.
Okay, yeah. If you're going 2, I'm going Pollard and Stevenson.
Yeah, give me that too. I'm gonna hop on that bandwagon. I just think McKissick he's just a clear-cut RB2. Gibson's getting the passes. Mm-hmm. Ken Walker, I'm a big fan of Ken Walker. It's just you got to give the guy time. He's still a rookie. He's still got off that hernia injury.
Show me the use first. Yeah, I don't see him being used. So yeah, Pollard and Stevenson, and Bernard Candle. One more, if y'all don't mind. We do not mind, Darius. That's what we're here for, brother. AJ Dillon or Damian Pierce or DJ Shark. I'm AJ Dillon.
Yeah, I have. It's funny because I drafted AJ Dillon. I drafted Damian Pierce in the 6th and AJ Dillon in the 9th. And I'm starting AJ Dillon over Damian Pierce because I don't care what Lovie Smith says. Until you show me the damn paperwork and show me the damn numbers, Damian Pierce is a bench player. It sucks. I was very high on the guy. I think he has still got great potential. I think Sexy Rex, he's not going to be there all season for him to take his position. But AJ Dillon's going to be there all season and take Aaron Jones' position. So AJ Dillon, I think rest of the season, RB2.
Agreed. AJ Dillon or Aaron Jones?
AJ Dillon, baby. Give me
Dillon?
AJ. Oh, yeah.
Dillon?
I don't care. You give Aaron Jones like receptions because he's going to have that, but you're not going to give Aaron Jones 20
carries. AJ Dillon, I think, is going to be used more within the 10 to the goal there. He's just a bruiser. He can also catch the ball as well.
It's
so
crazy
I can definitely see AJ Dillon having a better season. Yeah.
What's with these big running backs like that, like AJ Dillon? I mean, honestly, too, you know who one guy that's really underrated that should get more passes to is Nick freaking Chubb. Nick Chubb. Mm-hmm. He's a good pass catcher. Just give him like 3-4 catches at the end zone, man. Come on.
Which Packers receiver can we trust the most?
Neither.
Allen Lazard is expected to play this week. Out of all of them, I believe he has the safest floor. Christian Watson probably has the best opportunity to boom on the week. He's a burner. If he can catch the ball and not clap the ball, he would have had a big touchdown against the Vikings last week. So trust-wise, I'm trusting Allen Lazard over the rest. But if I'm looking for a boom player to get me over the hump and try to get the win, I might lean towards Watson there.
Yeah, I think Watson is eventually going to be the guy. Like he's going to be the guy that he's trying to make Devontae Adams for a year.
Yeah.
But until he gets his butterfingers up, he ain't going to do nothing.
Start 2, Noah Hayes here, Tampa Bay Bucks fan. Sorry. Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, or Dalvin Cook. You're starting Dalvin Cook, and then it's between one of the 2 Cleveland running backs.
Is it PPR or standard?
Chubb, man. I'm going to lean Nick Chubb here.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's PPR, I think Nick Chubb has another Nick Chubb game. It's the New York freaking Jets. And Dalvin Cook's Dalvin Cook.
Yep.
I think that's at the end of the day, Dalvin Cook. It's like, the injuries, but you got to stop playing the injury game.
Yeah. Again, drop a like if you're enjoying the stream. Subscribe to the channel. Download the uSTADIUM app. You'll get 24/7 access to everything that we do on that app. We're dropping our top lists. Anthony's got the amazing. He dresses it up like stocks. His drops and buys and holds for the week. We're giving you constant pushes, constant content on there for you guys. We're giving you the outs and ins and inactives and actives throughout the whole week. You can ask your questions, trade questions. So make sure you're getting on that app to get access throughout the whole week. And thank you for everyone joining us on the show here today. Let's get into our starts and sits of the week before we take off here. We had a pretty good week last week with the.
You had a pretty good week last week.
But we're going to jump in. My QB sit of the week is Ryan Tannehill for the Tennessee Titans versus the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are moving. They held Matt Stafford, who some had as a top 10 QB, to 10.8 fantasy points last week. He threw the ball 41 times for 240 yards, 1 touchdown, and a pick. The Bills' defensive unit as a whole looks in midseason form already. In 13 games versus Buffalo, Tannehill has an average passer rating of 79.6 to go along with 2,500 passing yards, 18 TDs, and 12 interceptions. He finished as a QB1 last week, Tannehill did, with a downgrade in offense versus an elite defense. He's trajecting to be a QB3 for week 2. Tannehill saw the 10th highest pressure rate last week versus the Giants. The Bills had the 10th highest pressure rate against QBs last week versus the Rams. I'm seeing the Bills getting to him early and often. The Titans will pivot to the running game in an attempt to try to slow the Bills offense down. And this factor alone is enough to sit the former wide receiver. Dontrell Hilliard is also out, a guy who caught Tannehill in that offense last week. My projection, 200 yards and half a touchdown for Ryan Tannehill. So sit the guy. Heading into our QB start of the week. Rough week last week. Stephon has him turning it around this week. It is Matthew Stafford.
Listen, it's the Bills versus the Titans. It was the Bills versus the Rams. I think what happened to Stafford will happen to Ryan Tannehill. I am 100% on board with your take to bench Ryan Tannehill. But if you look, the only silver lining in that loss or that debacle in LA against the Rams was that Stafford still threw 41 passes, still had 240 yards, which is mediocre to throw 41 and have 240. I get it. But he still had a touchdown. He did have 3 picks. It seems like he had his worst game of the season week 1. And going against an Atlanta Falcons team that looked really good offensively till about the second half. And the fourth quarter came around. They forgot how to play football. They packed it up. They thought it was over, 28-3, all that good stuff. I think Matt Stafford goes in there. I think this whole entire Rams organization – actually, no, they're home. So I think the Falcons go into L.A. They have to travel cross country. They just got off a very disappointing and energy-sucking loss to the Saints on some field goal stuff, but they looked really good. But that defense just looks like they're ready to get exposed. It's just you see Matt Stafford throw 240 yards against a good Bills defense when half the time he was getting sacked or under pressure. He couldn't barely get the ball off. You look at the Saints. I keep losing track. Saints have Jameis Winston, who up until the fourth quarter was the cream of the crop, sit of the week. And then he throws 2 touchdowns, almost 200 yards or 150 plus yards in the fourth quarter. And next thing you know, it's a game-winning field goal. The Saints win. The Jameis Winston Savage is a top 10 week. I think Matt Stafford easily goes into a top 7 week quarterback-wise, puts it back on track. Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, Darrell Henderson. I think even Higbee have a good game. And I think if I had to give a stat line off rip, give me 25 completions, give me 320 yards. Ooh. Give me 3 touchdowns and give me a touchdown and give me 1 interception. Ooh. 1. I know it's crazy, but you take away those 2 picks, the overthrow to Cooper Kupp, and another touchdown. That's 3 touchdowns and 1 pick and over 320 against a good Bills defense. So Matt Stafford, you are back. The elbow issue is still a concern, but against the Falcons, you should just throw some ice on that, some icy hot baby, and start slinging the rock.
There you go. Noah Hayes, Mooney or Curtis Samuel? I'm leaving Curtis Samuel here.
He said it was standard. So yeah, give me Curtis Samuel and give me Nick Chubb for that.
Yeah, there you go. Flex spot: CD, Jeff Wilson, or Brandon Ayuk. Full point PPR. Man, it is tough to fade a talented guy like CD Lamb. The full point PPR kind of throws a wrench in it for me to start Brandon Ayuk. So it's for me between Jeff Wilson and CeeDee Lamb. Jeff Wilson should have a decent day for that backfield for the Niners. I'm taking the running back, man. I'm going Jeff Wilson. It's tough. It's tough to say sit CeeDee Lamb, but the downgrade in quarterback has me leaning Jeff Wilson there.
Listen, you know what you do when you're in bed at night sleeping, you wake up in the morning getting ready for the show, right? What I like to do is I like to look up. Instead of having a TV on the roof or on the ceiling, I have guys who will break your heart every Sunday. Put CeeDee Lamb right there and just put Cooper Cooper Rush right next to him. So when you wake up in the morning and you go, that's why I'm disappointed in you, buddy. There you go. Come back in 8 weeks. We'll talk about CD Lamb in a different light, though.
Yeah. When Dak is back. Hunt or Fournette? Fournette was questionable throughout the week. He practiced full. I'm leaning Leonard Fournette here over Kareem Hunt, man. The guy was steady. He was good in week 1. He is facing the New Orleans Saints. It's tough to pick Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they play the Saints, but I leave my bias out of it. I'm leaning Leonard Fournette.
I mean, I want to say Fournette. I do, but you guys do have a great run defense. But then again, hey, Cordell Patterson ripped you guys apart for 22 and 140. So
yeah,
give me Leonard Fournette. I mean, I want Hunt. I just think this is more of a Nick Chubb kind of a game. It's one of those gritty games, and I think Fournette is outside of what you said. Evans is playing. Julio will be a game time decision. Russell Gage is still there. I think Fournette will have to go through them. Tom Brady will have to dump it off. You know, the run game is going to be very, very pivotal for this team, I think, today. And I think Fournette, 6 catches easily. I think every week you can guarantee him more 5 to 6 catches and at least 12 to 13 carries. Hunt, it might be like 1 week where Hunt does what he did last week, and then it's Nick Chubb week, and then it's Hunt, Chubb. So it's that alternation stuff kind of worries me. But Leonard Fournette's a clear-cut RB1.
Agreed. Kenyon Drake, Chase Edmonds, Mark Ingram, or DK Metcalf pick 2, and Kenyon Drake or Jeff Wilson in another league. I'm going to lean Jeff Wilson over Kenyon Drake in your other league. And then full PPR, I'm going to go Chase Edmonds. And man, it's tough to trust anything out of Seattle right now.
I know.
Chase Edmonds and DK Metcalf.
Are you really going to, I love Jeff Wilson, but are we really going to trust that backfield right now when they don't even know what they want?
Jeff Wilson, he's going to see the volume. He's going to see a high percentage of snaps. I mean, Kenyon Drake is there, but can I really trust Kenyon Drake? I don't think I can trust Kenyon Drake yet.
You don't think 2 weeks into the offense, it's Dobbins' second week out. You don't think because he looked at it, 11 for 31, did have 3 catches. He was involved way more than the other backs were. So it's not sexy, but it's not ugly. It's like it's like that, you want to take home that 10, but you really don't want to get stuck with the 1, but you get the 5. And it's like, you know what? Hey, it's the best of both worlds. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. So
yeah, Kenyon Drake, sober 5, drunk 10.
Yeah.
So, give me Kenyon Drake and Edmonds there. I don't mind that. And then I'm still starting Jeff Wilson over Kenyon Drake. Gabe Davis is questionable with an ankle injury. Should I start him or Amari Cooper this week? I'm like, no ankle injury, I'm starting Gabe Davis, right? Ankle injury, I'm picking up Isaiah McKenzie.
Thank you, or Jamison Crowder.
Yeah, or Jamison Crowder, and I'm stashing them on my bench.
Yeah,
to start over Amari Cooper.
What I don't think that Amari Cooper is bad. Like I can say we both agree we think Amari Cooper is a good receiver. We know how he is. It's just it seems that the offense is not not really going through him like the Dallas offense did, and I think DPJ, one of those guys, very underrated that they want to go through. So no ankle injury, give me Davis 100%. Ankle injury, what time is that game in Cleveland? 1 o'clock?
I believe so.
Yeah, you got like a quick turnaround. I mean, would you want to just say F it and just punt Amari Cooper and hope out Gabe Davis, and then would you plug in Jamison Crowder if
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I mean, if you have no other option and McKenzie or Crowder are not available on your bench and you're questioning Gabe Davis or Amari Cooper and you don't want to get caught, if Gabe Davis doesn't put Amari Cooper there and you're hoping for the best, right? But if McKenzie or Crowder on your bench, maybe even a Dawson Knox should have a good day, you're picking those guys up and you're waiting it out. If Gabe Davis plays, you're plugging in Gabe Davis. If not, you're plugging in the others, right?
Yeah, because I mean, you don't look at the other side of the Tennessee Titans, and you don't get Kyle Phillips or anything like that. So yeah, that's the safest option. And I really hope he plays because this is one of those very tricky, like annoying things where it's like, I gotta worry about it on a Sunday and then worry about who I'm picking up or starting. So yeah, what Chris said, just live by that, and we just hope it's not a real ankle injury.
Yeah. All right, let's get off to the rest of our starts and sits here. My running back start of the week, we talked about him. Miles Sanders On a team that currently holds, and I know it's only through week 1, the number 1 spot in team run plays per game with 39. Miles Sanders is looking to build off his decent week 1 with a 52% snap share. Sanders did the most with his opportunity when given the chance to touch the ball. He is the best running back in that committee, and when healthy, the Eagles will come to know that. 13 for 96, averaging 7.38 yards per carry with 1 TD, just screams efficiency through that week 1. He led the team in red zone touches. He had 2 runs of over 15 yards, so he's got the breakaway speed. He's got the breakaway abilities. I'm hoping he gets a little bit more involved in the passing game. Kenneth Gainwell, I believe, is the guy that they're going to rely on in that passing game. And if he does, he can absolutely smash this week. The Green Bay running backs put up a combined 26.7 points with a combined total of 167 all-purpose yards versus the Vikings in a game where they were playing from behind. My projection for Miles, 85 yards, 1.25 touchdowns. So he's getting a touchdown with a good, decent opportunity to get another. 3 catches, 25 yards on the week. So start Miles. He should have a decent week. RB sit the week. Stefan is not feeling comfortable starting Breece Hall, and he's going to tell you why.
I look at the snap share. I look at the percentage. I look at the plays. I look at routes run. I look at, rushes ran. Breece Hall, he had the numbers to be that guy. But something, like you said, that pesky little fly that is what's his name again? Oh, right. Is freaking Michael Carter Jr. Like, this guy is the RB1. He showed up week 1. We're like, oh, okay, week 1, it's whatever. But if you looked at his percentages, you look at his numbers, Breece Hall is developing into the back that we want him to be. But the Jets clearly aren't going to rush him. They're down, I say this every week, 2 starting tackles. Michael Carter is a dump-off guy. Joe Flacco is known to be the guy who, he needs a running back in his tough position. And, yeah, Breece Hall will get his 11 to 12 carries, but he hasn't produced with those 12 carries. And I think it's going to happen again against a good Browns defense. And I think that's why I correlated the Browns with the Breece Hall sit. I think it's kind of written on the wall. Michael Carter gets a dump-off, few rushes here and there. But if you look at it, Michael Carter is the most productive back. He's the most familiar back in that system. It's second year in the solid offense. I just think that Breece Hall has got a long way. Just like Ken Walker, just like these RBs that came into the draft. This is the reason we said this draft wasn't the strongest draft, because by now most of these running backs will be starting if they were higher end guys. Like next year's draft, we'll be looking at the Bijan Robinson as an RB1 for 1,000 yards in the season. Breece Hall is just not there yet. Next year, yes. But right now, I think he's just still too raw of a talent to develop into what the Jets want him to be. So give me under 60 rushing yards, under 0.4 touchdowns. I would say 11 to 12 carries, because you still have to feed the beast. But I don't think he just produces against a stout, really good Browns defensive line.
There you go. Justin O'Connor, pick 2. You guys helped me secure a win last week. Thank you for coming back, Justin. You got that dub. Jahan Dotson, Nyheim Hines, Damian Harris, Damian Pierce. Also, can I trust Albert O at tight end? You can trust Albert O at tight end. I mean, he was mere inches, centimeters, millimeters away from getting a touchdown. He was targeted quite a bit there in that offense. So I'm okay starting Albert O. You can trust Albert O. Pick 2 here. I'm going to go Dotson and Hines, only because I don't know what I'm going to get out of Damian Pierce this week, as well as Damian Harris. So I'm okay leaning Dotson. And with the top pass catchers for the Indianapolis Colts out, Nyheim Hines has an opportunity to soak up a lot of targets and catches there out of the backfield. So I'm good starting Dotson and Hines.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I love seeing Damian Pierce on there. Damian Harris is – see, the 2 Damians are going through a little struggle, and it's not because they suck. It's one of the offensive one. It's just the guy's not ready yet. Too much raw talent. But I think I lost that thing. I think Dotson and Hines, 2 great, volume guys. Dotson, I think, is very underrated. I know Samuel was there, McLaurin's there, but Dotson is a go up and get it guy, and we saw that last week. It wasn't a fluke. They were raving about this guy all offseason, and for him to come out week 1 and do that, it just speaks numbers to his name. So give me Dotson and give me Hines until Harris and Pierce kind of establish what's going on. And Albert O,
top 12 starting tight end for anybody. And even as top 14 leagues, 12, 10, no. But 12 to 14, you got to have this guy starting. Because like you said, that close to being a tight end 1 of the week. Like not an overall, but tight end 1 status.
Yes, no doubt, man. Good luck this week, Justin. Hopefully we help you get 2-0, baby. That's what we're here for. All right, let's get into our wide receiver sit of the week. Robbie Anderson, Carolina Panthers versus the New York Giants. Week 1, Robbie was the week 1 flex player of the week. He played 100% of the snaps, making 5 catches for 102 yards. He take away the 75-yard touchdown. The usage wasn't that great with quick out routes and screens used for Robbie. The usage was nice and the snap share was great, but the Giants defense is the best part of this young team. The Giants are a QB away from being a relevant team in the NFL again. They allowed 12 catches and only 169 yards to the Titans in week 1, not allowing any wide receiver to get over 75 yards and no receiving TDs. Both Aaron Robinson and Adoree Jackson only allowed 3 catches on 7 targets for 5 yards. That's pretty stout for DBs there. According to PFF, they had a coverage score of 69 or higher. So they are high valued, high coverage DBs for the New York Giants. The Giants will take Anderson out of the game. Don't go chasing last week's points. Sit Robbie Anderson. My projection, 4 catches, 40 yards, no TDs. Take him out of your lineups. Alvin Kamara out there. So, yeah, sit Robbie Anderson. Don't go chasing. Yes, thank you. Thanks, Justin. Also, Gabe Davis is officially doubtful. So there you go.
Oh, my God.
Gabe Davis, doubtful. The guy that was tuning in, take Davis out, plug Cooper in there, hope for the best there.
You guys got a Christmas gift on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And a Monday night game tells you now that Gabe Davis is doubtful. Listen, someone was watching. I mean, you got your answer quick, because if it was me that was asking that question, I would have waited till it would have been like, oh, we'll come out on Monday at 8:20 and tell you exactly about Gabe Davis.
There you go. So, Christian Molizzi, hey, Dawson Knox or Tyler Higbee, keep up the hard work. Thank you for tuning in, Christian. I got Tyler Higbee as a start of the week for me, tight end wise. I'm gonna get into that right after Stephon drops his start for Cortland Sutton. With the Gabe Davis news that he is doubtful, I think I'm bumping Dawson Knox just above Tyler Higbee, because he's going to become that end zone touchdown threat for the Buffalo Bills. So I'm comfortable starting Dawson Knox over Tyler Higbee this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dawson Knox, I was bullish on him in the regular season, in the preseason and everything. Yeah. I just think that with Gabe Davis especially, it's like this guy is the guy. And I think week 1 was like, oh my God, he did nothing for me. But that's going to happen. That's what tight ends are. If you're not getting the top 3 guys, and even the top 3 guys didn't ball out, like they were like, okay, so you can't get mad at Dawson Knox, because it wasn't just him. But he definitely has high upside, and him and Josh Allen do have chemistry. We've seen it. 2 touchdowns, 50-yard game, 6 catches. Like it happens. So give me Dawson Knox over Higbee, but it's very, very slim, because Higbee could be a big guy in the offense as well.
All right, let's get to our wide receiver start of the week. Stephon, take it away, brother.
Give me the 6'4", not Jerry Jeudy, caught 70 yards receiving, had 5 catches on the week. Could have had another 30-yard game, but they are not that good, and they didn't call a flag on my mans. But that's a different story. Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, that Broncos receiving core, I'm starting every week. But this week, I want Cortland Sutton over Jeudy, because Jeudy had the big game. And Russell Wilson loves his 6'4" receivers, a.k.a. DK Metcalf in Seattle, a.k.a. Cortland Sutton in Denver. Same prototype, same kind of guys, same players, same thing. I expect Cortland Sutton to come out, and I think Russell Wilson in this game develops that rainbow deep ball that we saw in Seattle for 12 years, the one that we saw many times beat Packers, the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl, your Saints maybe a few times here and there. That rainbow shot
right in his hands, where you just look
Yes,
up
sir.
and you just see the pot of gold in your hands, and it's going to be the pot of gold twice for Courtland Sutton against a very, very poor defense. And Derek Stingley is good, but that guy is not ready. 8 catches, 134 yards, and a tutty against them.
Ooh, like it.
That's what happened against Stingley. Stingley's not bad, but hey, Courtland Sutton's that guy. When I see a 6'4" receiver with a wingspan like that, I'm thinking whoever the guy is on him is going to have a terrible day. Give me Courtland Sutton with another 80 to 90-yard day, 2 tutties, 6 catches. It's going to be one of those deep balls that get away and that Russell Wilson plants perfectly, and then one of those dinky 25-yard touchdown routes, because I think Courtland Sutton is just undervalued. I know he didn't do well, and Judy had 23 points PPR, 20 points in half-point PPR, had 112 yards, 7 catches. These guys are basically identical. Ranking them 21-22. These guys are right next to each other. So give me Courtland Sutton to have the better day by a margin, and I think Russell Wilson comes back, and Broncos country will ride this week. You're muted. You're muted. Chris, you're muted.
Here you go. My bad. My tight end start of the week, Tyler Higbee for the Los Angeles Rams versus the Atlanta Falcons. He is my streamer tight end of the week, but now with the Gabe Davis news, Dawson Knox might be that guy. Matt Stafford leaned on him in week 1. He was targeted 11 times, which led the week for tight ends. He saw a 26.8% target share, was on the field for more than 90% of the offensive plays ran. 17 of his 35 touches came from the slot, so he's lining up as a wide receiver as well. He only had the 1 red zone target, which is not a pathway to having a tight end 1 week, but last week was Buffalo. The Rams need to shake up that rust. Now he gets the Atlanta Falcons, and last year, Higbee tied for first when it came to red zone targets. The Falcons weren't good versus the position last season, allowing the 4th most touchdowns to the tight ends. Higbee has a great chance to find pay dirt this week. 4.5 catches and a touchdown for Tyler Higbee rolling into week 2. That is a great stat line for a guy that you picked up off waivers and to stream at the position. So start Tyler Higbee with some confidence this week. And our tight end sit of the week is none other than Mr. Donut himself, Irv Smith Jr. Stefan, why are we sitting Irv?
Well, the Vikings love to give him 100% snap share. You know, the guy was on the field every snap. But it seems like he went to Dunkin' Donuts first and got himself some glazed donuts because he was not there, didn't show up. And you know what? It makes it even worse. The Vikings actually came out and said, and I quote, Irv Smith's job was to play 100% of the snaps, and we didn't give him the ball, and we knew that because it was like a game plan. They literally came out and said it was okay that he didn't get a single catch. If that doesn't scream red flag, that doesn't scream drop, that doesn't scream, I don't care what your projection is, get him off my team, because he will break your heart as he broke a lot of people's last year and a lot of people's this year. Keep Irv Smith away from your roster. I don't care. I will sit him every week of the year. I don't think Kirk Cousins can supplement Tannehill, Thielen, KJ Osborne, and Justin Jefferson. Those guys are enough on his platter with Dalvin Cook. Irv Smith's not going to be that guy tight end this year. There was a lot of hype coming into the season. He was supposed to be good. Tyler Conklin leaving was like, oh, okay, Conklin's out, Irv Smith's in. I'm not buying it. I haven't bought it. I will not buy this stock. I am buying low. If anything, I'm selling the stock of Irv Smith, and I'd give me 3 catches, 20 yards, and no touchdown. That's literally what I think is going to happen because they do not care about this guy at all. He's just a good roster spot to fill. He can block well for Dalvin Cook, pass block, but that's about it.
Do not start Irv Smith.
Do not start him ever.
All right, our last 2 spots here are team defense. Last week, I said start the Miami Dolphins, a low own percentage. They finished as the defense 2, just behind the Pittsburgh Steelers. This week, I'm telling you to sit the Minnesota Vikings versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Last week, the Vikings played the Packers, who struggled to produce anything offensively throughout the night. They capitalized on a lowly Aaron Rodgers with 1 pick and 4 sacks. They also forced 1 fumble on the day, knocking the ball out of the back-to-back MVP's hands. But they were away from an attempt from Christian Watson away from having a mediocre outing. This week, they get the Eagles, and according to PFF, they have the least favorable matchup on the week for Team DSTs. Don't get caught chasing, thinking Jalen Hurts isn't going to pass the ball. They threw it 32 times last week. They had 4 different rushers score the ball, including Jalen Hurts. Their running game is as efficient as they come. Monday Night Football, under the lights. My projection for the score between the two teams, 30-27. So sit the Minnesota Vikings. And our team defense start of the week is the Cleveland Browns.
And you know why they're the start of the week? Because last week you convinced me that they were a good start. And I looked, and they were a good start. And I'm like, how could this get any better? How can I find a defense that's going to do very well against a team that's begging for something? Oh, look who comes into town. It's the goddamn Jets. Like, it's the doormat of the NFL. It's like, hey, wipe your feet off before you walk in. The Browns got Myles Garrett. If you watch the guy when he walked in just now, we got like the video of him walking into the stadium. This guy looks like he's ready to eat these people, literally. Myles Garrett is going to have a field day, and that coexists. So my Browns defense start coexists with the Breece Hall sits. You just don't do it. The Browns, their DBs, linebackers, their defensive line, they're savages. They're all good. Their offense is not, it's Deshaun Watson waiting. Of course, in 11 weeks, that entire team will be complete. But for now, that defense is it's good. We saw against the Panthers, they held them down. The Panthers should have won that game, and they should have scored a few more points. But that Browns defense, Myles Garrett, they were a force to reckon with, and they will be a force to reckon with this week. I had the Browns defense in a lot of my mock drafts as a very late pick in the 16th round, 15th round, because of their first 4 weeks starting. I would start them every week over any other defense right now. That defense is deep. That defense has a good schedule for like last week, this week, the next. Yep. It's a great starting schedule. Yes, it might get tougher down the road because the AFC North starts to come into play. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Bengals, Ravens, whatever. But for right now, the Browns are the best value, bang for your buck defense that you don't have to do anything. No fab, no nothing. Just pick them up or draft them in the end of the round like you did, and you're sitting pretty for 4 or 5 weeks. Next week will be a different one because, it's matchups, but the Browns have the easiest matchup, I think, of the week.
There it is. There's our starts and sits for the week. Thank you to everyone that joined us and dropped the question in the chat. We hope we set you guys up to hit that 2-0 spot, lead you in the right direction heading into the meaty part of the season. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Get the uSTADIUM app for all updates on every sport, signing, start, sits, whatever questions you got. Make the takes, make some money off your sports takes. And that's it for us today. I'm your host, Chris. As always, with me is Stefan. Stefan, let them know where they can find you, brother.
Twitter, uSTADIUM app. You can get me on Instagram. Honestly, if you have my phone number, I don't know how, but if you do and I get a message, I'll answer. But like you said, I mean, we do this every week for you guys. You are the reason that we do this, like I said. So every time we have questions, we appreciate everyone. But if you have any questions until game time, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock, Monday night games, my Twitter account is my handle right here. You just look me up. I am on my phone a lot anyways. I'll answer your DMs, the uSTADIUM app, anything. We're also going to have probably a space after this. So if you have any more questions we couldn't get to or anything that, later on inactives come out, please join us. Let us know. Reach out to us. I'm here till 1 o'clock and I have nothing better to do.
That's it for us. Enjoy week 2. Good luck.
Go Bucks.